Hey, it's Laura. I haven't been doing as many videos as I had set my goal to be, but things have been exploding in all aspects. And while good, I am trying to gain my footing to organize myself and keep going. And we start these conversations, with the best of intentions, obviously, and that's important and that's how it flows. But sometimes everything can happen at once. And so these conversations that I've been having with these businesses, for the last several months, all of a sudden everything sort of happens at the same time, which is both exciting and overwhelming at times. So I have not been doing the videos that I wanted to do, and forever am giving myself grace for doing what I can in any given day. So, that being said, going with this flow, if you read the last blog, which I want to share with you here, it's a very conscious effort to let go. And it's very weird. And I'm still growing through things that have triggered me. And today I had this epiphany. I'm sitting, working with my client, and I'm like, I'm figuring it out, and it's a finance client. So I've had my head in numbers, which has been kind of an interesting break, actually. It's something I'm very analytical in nature and something that I have enjoyed doing for a long time, but hadn't really picked it up in the last bit. So I'm sitting there thinking, and I'm going through the numbers, and I'm making my changes and everything. And I'm thinking about these triggers that I'm dealing with. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just not, I don't want to feel that way. I'm not going to do that anymore. And sometimes it's as simple as that. And sometimes, actually, it's always as simple as that. It's the discipline that takes practice on an everyday basis. But this month, I really have hit my flow state, or I'm entering my flow state or something. But holy shit, it's like flowing. I've never felt this aligned in my life. And I keep saying that, but like, it's true. So I did this exercise with this group that I belong to, and there was all these different elements, basically, of your life. So like your career, your friends, your relationships, your living space, your like all of the elements that make up your life, and sort of grading them, like how do you feel about each one? Is it where you want to be? Is it kind of on the back burner? Is it something that you're really striving towards, or whatever? And as we're going through this exercise, all of these things were going into this like flow state. Like, I'm really happy with all of these things that are going on right now. And as soon as I saw that, this was last week, I had this like epiphany, and like, I've never been so aligned in my life. And it's really weird. So it's weird because it feels so good. And this is coming from someone that has had anxiety probably her whole life. Like, I don't even know. I didn't know that's what it was, which is strange to think about. But one of the, I forget what the prompts were, but I wrote down some things after, and it was like, I said, when I slow down, I feel at ease with who I am and where I'm going. Everything is aligning. And when I am rushed, I feel like I'm not being authentic. So one of the things that I just started this video with is that I haven't been getting the videos done, and I've considered it, and I've just started a few times if I'm in between like pickups or, just arriving somewhere or whatever, I'm in the car or something, and I sit down and I'm like, but I don't really have anything to say right now. My mind is still going, and I need to give myself a few minutes. And so staying authentic to myself, I'd rather not do the video than do some rehearsed, like, this is what you want to hear all the time. I could jump on and give you a tool, and I definitely, will do that. But like, when I'm going between meetings or whatever, unless something is inspiring me, I might not have something to say in that moment that I'm able to record it. So I like to remain authentic to myself, and I'll I'll always remain authentic to myself. I am never giving my power to anyone else ever again. I grew up my whole life giving everyone else my power, apologizing, making myself seem as small as possible just so that I could fit in someone else's box. And I'm not doing that anymore. So this theme for this month with this group that I belong to was doing less. And I can't exactly do less right now. So instead of doing less, I'm slowing down. So slowing down to do the things that fill my soul with joy. There can be a lot of overwhelm. I can't believe that in just a few short weeks, I'll be at the 1 year mark for going out on my own as a coach. And I had started this blog nearly a decade ago, and sharing my story from the other side of the screen because it was a safe space. And going through all of the different changes that I have, and documenting them and making other people feel less alone. And then here we are now, almost a decade later, and a year in on my business, and it feels amazing. I've been thinking about this for almost 10 years and what it would feel like. My intention wasn't necessarily to become a coach. I don't know if I really knew at that point what I wanted it to be, but I knew I liked sharing my story. And so my book, I'm going to work on that this weekend. I don't have my kids this weekend, and I feel like I've been hesitating on it because the ending is kind of now. It's the new beginning. Being in this flow state, being empowered enough and confident enough in myself to help others. And then it just recycles itself. All that feel good stuff is just keeps cycling through again and again. And I walked out of my client's house today where we were working, and I looked up at the sky and I'm looking around at all the trees and everything, and I'm like, I fucking love where I am. I love being there. I love working with them. They're such strong, positive people. And it makes it feel so good when you're surrounded by people that are supportive and kind. And I never want to go back to that place again. I'm never going to hand someone else the power. The clients that I was working with today respect me and know what I'm capable of and are supportive of that. And they're supportive of all my other goals too. And I am of theirs. And it's so refreshing to feel that. And I'm so fucking grateful that this all sort of flowed together. And so one of the things that I was thinking of is how I am in alignment. And I wrote this blog, I guess 2 weeks ago, actually. And it was after going out on my kayak. And I hadn't been on my kayak all summer, and it just didn't work out. I really wanted to go with my daughter, and it was complicated. And I sat there by the edge of the water just writing. It was pouring out of me. And I have another really good one coming out this Sunday as well. And I missed last week because it just wasn't ready yet. And so going with the flow means sometimes missing a deadline, but it's my own deadline. And I know you'll forgive me. But this flow state, I never really understood, I'd sit there and I go, what is the action? I'm not sure what the action is. And I was so not confident in myself and my choices that I relied on other people. I would ask so many other opinions of people that it didn't quite frankly matter because they weren't sitting in my shoes. And how long I did that for. I left my power in other people's hands. But it's my life that's affecting, not theirs. And I'll still ask for opinions on certain things, obviously, but it's just so strange when you I keep saying strange because feeling good is not natural to me. I didn't grow up in a happy environment, and I had my heart broken a lot in different ways from different people, and being able to trust myself is kind of big. When you're raised by someone who's constantly putting you down or gaslighting you, you become very unsure of your own opinion. And finally, at 42, I fucking get it. And after, exiting a relationship that kind of triggered a lot of growth on my end, where I was treated kind of the same way. And it was very eye-opening. And learning to trust yourself and your intuition when you know something doesn't feel right is huge. So if there's anything, I would say that's a really good guiding point. But I wanted to share this blog with you. And it is beautiful, in my opinion. So I hope you enjoy it. I didn't write much this week. Is it the feeling of overwhelm, busyness? Do we feel overwhelmed because we have too much going on? Or is it that just life and that feeling comes from not doing the things that make me feel alive enough? I went for a short stint in my kayak this morning, and it's something that I had to push myself to do. But why? When I'm out on the water, it feels good. It's just me and nature, much to the same feeling as when I'm in the woods, my favorite place. I climbed out of my kayak as I reached the shoreline and sat down in the dew-soaked grass, not a single voice within earshot as I gazed out onto the water, watching the ripples expand and echo. I examined each house along the edge, picturing myself residing in each one, deciding which one I might pick if I had the opportunity. Being able to see a body of water from my living room quarters is a huge goal of mine. Sitting on the deck, watching the water with my morning coffee, a titillating feeling. That's one of my favorite things about vacation, that special time. The water felt really enveloping this morning as I navigated my kayak into the water. Not cold, very inviting, and for a split moment, I considered just laying down in it, letting it consume me, my hair floating around me like a mermaid's would. The wet sand felt like clouds beneath my feet. I could have stood there for an hour. But going on my solo kayak ride this morning was what I was pushing myself to do today. That and the growing list of blissful homeowner chores that need to get done, and I am the only one I have for that. It would be so much fucking easier to just ignore it all. Let the weeds grow. They do anyway. Let the dishes, laundry, and dust pile up. I imagine ignoring those things would look like just shutting the front door and blissfully sitting on the other side where I don't have to look at it. As the sun does its thing in the mid-morning, my shade along the shoreline has moved behind me. The breeze picks up and I close my eyes to feel it hit my face. The only noise I hear are the leaves rustling on the trees and the water splashing up against the dock in perfect harmony. It's in these moments that I marvel at the beauty that surrounds us right here where we live. Just an hour ago, I was digging through the garage looking for my paddles, and now I sit here in nature and can return back to life at any moment. I think I'm going to sit here a little longer, immersed. My whole life, people told me I was too sensitive, passionate. I said it before and I'll say it again. I've never been meant for surface level. I am meant for depth, intensity, intimacy. It's who I am. The clouds rolling in as the breeze intensifies, and still, you couldn't ask for anything more serene. If I'm sitting here now, does this mean in another hour I'll be cleaning at home, getting ready for my week? I think I will fill my cup a little bit more today first. I'm learning as I go, and most of the time, I'm a hot mess. My tongue is passionate and I'm bold. I have a habit of letting my whole heart pull me along before I think it all through. But I'm trying, and I think I'd rather be a chaotic mess of burning passion than a perfectly put together coward. Brookhampton. Writing has always been something I loved. It has been a tool to help me grow, get through hard times, and express myself. I've been working on my book for a long time, and as I near completion, I don't want to miss a single detail. All my beta readers told me they loved it, but they wanted more. Letting go of what we thought something should be and just going with the feeling, flow state, is key. You cannot force it. You will be surprised to see how quickly things start falling into place when you stop and let go a little. How do you feel your feelings? How do you express them? What are you closing the door on to avoid? People are my passion. I love helping people, but I do not like being used for my brain or my body. I am learning to weed out the dishonest people. I recognize them quicker now, proving that meaningless words without action backing them up mean nothing. Writing this blog wasn't just getting through the pain, it was figuring out who I was without it. Feeling bad is the easy part. It was comfortable and normal. Being happy was the challenge. Being happy is something that you have to work at and choose every single day. You deserve to feel happiness. You deserve to be in a space that inspires you. You deserve love. My divorce gave me just the space and freedom to figure out my why. Now, with new opportunities ahead of me, I'm looking through a completely different lens. The sun intensifies, and I must move forward with my day, not in total service, but with hope and a full cup. Thinking of you and sending you love.